Hello, fellow group ride winners. Today we are going to give you our 3 reasons why we would upgrade to the brand new 2024 SRAM Red. All right, so you knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. It's been leaked in the media. It's been on pros bikes for months. But is it worth it? The old SRAM Red group was great, but it did have a few things that people continued to harp on. Bad hood shape, heavy weight, and poor front shifting. So let's address those 3 things and talk about why we would upgrade to the new group set. All right, reason number 1, let's talk about shift performance. One of the things that people were really ragging on the old group for was bad front shift quality.
Roglic comes unstuck, drops a chain, needs a spare bike, does he? And a moment here of pure drama.
The new group has a redesigned front derailleur cage that has a much narrower shape than the old one. So SRAM says that makes for faster front shifting, but it also has a new auto trim and yaw functionality, which talks to the rear derailleur, and as you move up and down the cassette, positions the front derailleur so that you don't have any noise by the chain touching the derailleur cage. This means you can cross-chain until your heart is content. You can run that big ring in the front and that biggest cog in the back with absolutely no noise. Looking up close at the old and the new derailleur, you can tell that it is actually a much narrower passage through the derailleur cage. And if you look on the outer plate, you can see that it is much taller, which obviously will help with stiffness. So when you shift into the big or the small ring, you're going to be able to have better pressure against the chain. When you look at the back end of the system, the partner to the front derailleur, the rear, you'll see pretty much the same thing. The derailleur hasn't done a ton of changing except for getting much thinner in some of the places. They've taken more material away to help save weight, but you're also gonna see some bigger oversized pulleys to help with aesthetics and maybe to lower drivetrain friction just a bit. Reason number 2 we would upgrade is the lower weight. So SRAM says that this new group set is now the lightest electronic group on the market. Yeah, that's lighter than Shimano and Campagnolo, all of them. It's the lightest electronic group set on the market. It was a little bit funny though. When we started to actually weigh the individual components, we were a little underwhelmed. We started by measuring the cassette and the brake rotors, and they're at dead even heat, absolutely no weight savings here. Jump into the new front and rear derailleur and measure those 2 together, and you're only gonna see about 14 grams of loss there. But the big changes do start to come. You look at the chain, and thanks to some really clever little cutouts, you actually lose 11 grams on just the chain. Looking at the power meter and the cranks, put those together and you're dropping another 37 grams. And then the biggest change of all comes in the shifters and the brakes, and you're dropping 78 full grams there. Add the whole group setup together and you drop 138 grams, or roughly, give me a little bit of wiggle room there, about the same as an entire front derailleur. So when you think about the whole system and you're dropping an entire weight of the front derailleur, that's doing a pretty darn good job. That does indeed make it the lightest group set on the market. And one final thing. All of these components are now reverse compatible. So if you want to take the big weight savings of those clever shifters, you can actually put that and pair that with any of the old things, whether it's Force Red or Rival, any of the old pieces. They can mix and match and still work all together in the same system. And reason number 3 is improved ergonomics and way better braking. The last generation of SRAM Red was a huge improvement from where they started with hydraulic levers, but still some people were big critics about how much volume the hood shapes had and how tall the front of the hoods were. The new levers make a huge change by reducing the volume in the actual hood and reducing the height so it doesn't look like you have a tumor on the front end of your shifter.
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
To make that change, SRAM moved the piston from above the brake lever down to inside of the hood body. This also helps give a larger piston shape so you have more fluid inside of it, so you've got stronger, more progressive braking. SRAM is quoting 80% less brake effort from the hoods and 33% less effort from the drops, which makes the brakes feel substantially better. From playing around with the levers in person, you'll notice that they really do feel much more natural in your hand. And as you start to squeeze on the brakes, you really do feel like you've got a lot more leverage, both in the hoods and down below. Another great little add-on for the ergonomics is the addition of some new buttons at the top. You can program these buttons to move your computer, whether you've got a hammerhead like SRAM is shipping with some of the group sets or a Garmin, or you can actually program it to be another shift button from the top of your hoods. So just some quick closing thoughts. As we've kind of looked through the group and we've gotten a chance to mill over each little part, the fit and finish is incredible. They've done a much better job of milling out and machining different parts, so even if you don't see major weight savings, you do see a group set that does look a lot better. On top of that, this really does feel like a huge step in the right direction. Of course, this is the first group that they're introducing, but it's hard to believe that they wouldn't have a UDH derailleur on the horizon and some other upgrades for time trial and other pieces coming down the pipeline. If you have any questions, by all means, throw them down in the comments or reach out to us online. We're here for any of your questions. We also do have these groups in stock now, both on bikes and at aftermarket if you are looking to upgrade today. Actually, by now they're probably sold out, but still, reach out. We'd love to hear from you.